What if I told you that your deepest wound is actually your greatest gift? Right now, millions are scrolling through perfect couple photos while you sit in solitude, wondering if you're broken. The world screams that being alone equals failure. But here's the truth they don't want you to know. Your solitude isn't emptiness, it's incubation. You're not single by accident. You're single by divine design. What I'm about to reveal will shatter every lie you've been told about love and timing. Your loneliness isn't your sentence, it's your sanctuary. Do you know that moment when you look around and it seems like love is happening to everyone, just not to you? Like people are finding partners, entering relationships, living stories, while you're there, trying, giving yourself, only to watch everything fall apart halfway through? Maybe you've already given your best, jumped in with your whole heart, really believed, gave yourself completely, and what did you get back? Silence, lies, distance. Or worse still, that kind of coldness that hurts more than any fight. And then, in the middle of all this, you begin to ask yourself, is the problem with me? Is something broken in me? Is it karma, a curse? Or was I simply born to be alone? But let me tell you something that maybe no one has really told you yet. If you're still alone, it's not because something is missing from you. Not because you're not enough. But because there's something incredibly valuable in you, something that cannot be given away lightly. You carry a sacred essence within you. And the sacred does not mix with just any energy. What is pure does not connect with what is impure. And as hard as it may be to accept, sometimes God protects you, removes you, even protects you from yourself. You weren't created to have superficial relationships. You were set apart from the beginning. Your heart is not a stage for games, it's a temple. And God watches over this temple with care, even if it means leaving you alone for a while. You belong to the chosen ones, and the chosen don't connect with anyone at any time. Your soul carries a greater mission, an energy that not everyone can bear. Do you perhaps feel that your loneliness carries something sacred within it? That's why you sometimes feel this emptiness, this feeling that everything is delayed. But it's not. This waiting is not punishment. It's part of a much bigger plan. A strategy from above. If this understanding reaches you now, it's because something is beginning to come together. God is preparing the field, moving the pieces. Because what's coming to you is not ordinary, it's divine. From the beginning you were preserved. Even when it looked like rejection. Even when the people you loved left you. Even when you couldn't understand why certain connections never worked. But all of that had a reason. Everything had meaning. There's a sign on you, a signature from above. And when God chooses someone for something special, He must shape that person. And often this process happens in solitude. Every relationship that didn't work, every story that almost became something, every bond that broke, all of that was part of a cleansing. A way to free you from connections that would have prevented you from fulfilling your calling. You carry a rare light within you, and this light shakes those who still live in darkness. Sometimes you entered relationships that drained you, made you smaller, and stole your energy. And deep inside you knew that wasn't real love. It was an attempt to suffocate the glow of your soul. And that's exactly when God intervened. He created distance, closed doors, ended cycles. Even when you had done everything to keep it alive. Even when you cried, begged, believed. God didn't punish you, He freed you. He protected you from what you couldn't yet recognize as toxic. Because in the spiritual realm, a relationship is not just affection, it's a soul connection, an invisible contract. And when the other soul is not in harmony with heaven, the connection becomes a silent war within you. That's why he protects you, even when you don't understand it, even when it hurts. Because the mission you carry is too great to be dragged down by relationships without true roots in real life. And when the time is right, everything will make sense. You will recognize that this waiting was actually preparation. That what felt like loneliness was actually a divine waiting room where you were refined. This is one of the greatest inner struggles for those with a chosen soul, the conflict between the desire to love and God's timing. You want to love, share life, build something with someone. And that's beautiful, that's real. But God doesn't connect people because of loneliness, age, or mere passion. He connects them according to the maturity of their souls. Maybe you've already met the right person, but if neither of you was ready, it couldn't happen. Because true love needs spiritual preparation, not just desire. And that's where the pain lies, because you feel ready. You feel that you have so much to give, to nurture, to share. And yet you're still alone. And in this loneliness comes the painful question, what did I do wrong? But the truth is, you did nothing wrong. God is refining you. He's purifying your intentions, healing old wounds, strengthening you from within, so that when the time comes, you can be whole. And not everyone who came into your life and left again was a bad person. Some simply weren't ready to walk alongside you on the path that God has planned for you. Because loving someone who carries a spiritual mission is not easy. It means walking alongside someone who possesses a different kind of sensitivity, a vision that not everyone can understand. And that's exactly why God doesn't allow you to connect deeply with people who are still trapped in ego, impulses, or inner chaos. Even if they attract you, even if they seem ready, you are a channel of light. And whoever walks by your side must do more than love you. He or she must respect, protect, and strengthen this light. God doesn't just want you to be happy now. He wants to connect you with what makes you grow, not with what suffocates you. And as long as this connection is not possible, He prefers to keep you alone, not as punishment, but out of care. Because your heart wasn't created for fleeting experiences. It was made to live something deep, true, and purposeful. God shapes your inner world so you can receive a love that carries the same weight as the mission He has entrusted to you. Relationships are not just emotional or physical encounters. They are spiritual portals. Something many ignore, but which the chosen learn in the end, often in the most painful way. Every time you connect with someone, an energy exchange takes place. And because you are spiritually sensitive, you feel everything. The other's pain, their traumas, their burdens, and even the spiritual influences that person carries with them. Have you ever felt how certain people completely exhausted you, as if you were absorbing their energy? That's why some encounters make you completely exhausted. That's why a single argument can drain you for days. It's not drama, it's not weakness, it's spiritual sensitivity. You feel what goes beyond the visible, because your mission involves healing, wisdom, and elevation. But if you open this gift to the wrong person, your channel is disturbed, your connection to the divine weakened. And yes, the darkness knows this. It knows that if it can't stop you directly, it will try to entangle you with everything that delays you, drains you, pulls you down. That's why you are a target for unstable, manipulative, and internally broken people. Not because you're weak, but because your light attracts attention. And even without realizing it, they tried to absorb what God has placed in you. Your only mistake was seeing the love. You ignored the warnings, the signs. You wanted to help, save, understand. But that wasn't your fight. That wasn't your calling. And so God had to intervene, pull you out of this situation, let you suffer for a while, remove you from where you were, before all of that could extinguish the mission he entrusted to you. In that moment, it felt like loss, like betrayal. But it was God who freed you. Because every time you connect with someone who isn't ready, your mission fades a little. Your energy drops, your clarity disappears, your inner fire begins to die out. That's why you're alone now, not as punishment, but as protection. God knows that your path is too precious to be risked through stories that only feed ego and attachment. This phase of loneliness you're experiencing now is not a lack of love. It's a shield. It's a time of strengthening. Your celibacy is a sacred space where God weaves wisdom, silence, and strength into your spirit. It's like a secret chamber where He silences everything around you so you only hear His voice. If you look closely at your life, you'll recognize it was always this way. Every time you tried to connect, give yourself, build a bond, something happened and everything fell apart. It's no coincidence. It's an invisible code, a divine sign that you were called to something higher. Yes, loneliness hurts. But for someone set apart by God, it has meaning. In this emotional emptiness, in the absence of external noise, the greatest truths are revealed. Look at the stories of great faith figures. Moses had to go through the desert. Joseph was forgotten in prison. David hid in caves. Even Jesus needed the solitude of the desert before his mission began. Why? Because God hides those He intends to elevate. He prepares them in silence, away from the voices of the world, away from contamination by false gazes and influences. You're not alone because you lack worth. You're alone because your worth is still being refined by divine hands. The celibacy of the chosen is not an emotional hole. It's a secret space that only God enters. There He trains you for your mission. There He reveals to you what ordinary eyes cannot see. While many out there flee into relationships just to not be alone, you learn something much deeper: how to love without losing yourself in the other. You learn how to remain steadfast in God, even when the heart aches from loneliness. You build your identity, not through another's presence, but through the voice of the one who dwells in you. And it is this silent love, this loyalty behind the scenes, that creates the foundation for something lasting. God teaches you to be whole and complete in yourself, because He knows, when the time comes, it won't be two halves trying to complete each other, but two whole, mature souls who recognize each other and go together on a greater mission. So, when the feeling of abandonment overcomes you, when you feel misunderstood or forgotten, remember, you weren't left behind. You were set apart. It's not that God denies you love. He's purifying it. He's preparing something that truly makes sense for your soul. And when this encounter happens, you'll know it. There will be no doubt. Because it won't be a coincidence. It will be an activated calling. It won't simply be a relationship or romance. It will be a connection with a purpose. The world has learned to chase after relationships. But God wants to give you something greater, a sacred union. And that's a tremendous difference. Relationships are often based on what's visible: appearance, shared interests, chemistry, loneliness. They can start quickly and end just as quickly. But what comes from God has deeper roots. It comes with a purpose. It comes with direction. God doesn't just want you to be happy short term. He wants to accomplish something through both of you. And that's why it takes time. Because what is eternal requires preparation. And you are being prepared. You weren't born for superficial stories. Your soul is intense, sensitive, connected. You can't force yourself to stay where there's no truth. You try to adapt, but something in you always says, "This here is not for me." And this feeling is not a mistake. It's a sign of spiritual maturity. It's a soul that refuses to accept less than what was promised to it. Can you now see in retrospect that some separations saved you from something? Maybe you like this person, but you can't fully open your heart because your spirit knows it's not the time, it's not the person. And God is extremely careful in this matter. He doesn't want to see you trapped in something that drains you, robs you of peace, or makes the light in your eyes fade. He wants someone for you who prays with you, who stands by your side in difficult times. Someone who helps you carry your calling, not someone who distracts you from it. He wants more than just a partner for you. He wants to give you a soulmate, someone who sees what you carry within, who understands your silence, who respects your being. And such a connection doesn't just emerge from nothing, it's prepared. If it hasn't come yet, it's because it's still being formed in heaven, in the hidden. So keep this truth in your heart. You were never accidentally alone. Every phase of waiting, every silence, every tear has shaped you internally. And what comes will correspond to what you have become. It will be more than just comfort for loneliness. It will be an answer for your soul, a blessing you will recognize with your whole heart. And on that day, everything will make sense. All the waiting, the struggle, the silence, they will transform into gratitude. You will understand that God preserved you for something special. You are chosen. You are set apart. And even if you were misunderstood, rejected, underestimated, none of it was in vain. You were forged in the fire of waiting to live a love that has nothing to do with status or externals, but with truth, depth, and destiny. So please, stop being so harsh with yourself. You're not too late. You're not broken. You are in a sacred process. And the most precious works of heaven are never created in haste. Even when it seems like nothing is happening, God works in the hidden. And He's preparing someone who won't simply be company, but protection, a mirror of your mission. Until that day comes, protect your heart. Don't give it to someone who doesn't recognize its worth. Stay strong, keep believing, and let yourself be sanctified in this process. So here's your moment of choice. You can close this message and return to the world that calls your solitude a curse. You can keep believing that your worth is measured by weekend plans and plus ones. You can continue apologizing for the very thing that makes you extraordinary. Or you can stand in the truth that changes everything. You are not waiting for love. Love is waiting for you to become ready for its magnitude. While others collect hearts like trophies, you are being crafted into a masterpiece. While they settle for chemistry, you are being prepared for alchemy. While they chase connections, you are becoming the connection. To yourself, to purpose, to the divine conspiracy that has been orchestrating your story since before you took your first breath. Your solitude is not your story, it's your prologue. And when your chapter finally opens, when that soul recognizes your soul across the crowded noise of this world, you'll understand why every door had to close, why every heart had to walk away, why every night of loneliness was actually a night of preparation. Because what's coming isn't just love, it's legendary love. The kind that doesn't just complete you, but completes a mission. The kind that doesn't just make you happy, but makes you holy. The waiting is almost over. The becoming is complete. Your love story doesn't begin when you meet them. It began the day you learned to be whole while alone. Now go be magnificent in your solitude. The universe is taking notes. And if this message has touched your heart in any way, share it with someone who is also waiting. Maybe this person needs exactly these words. And if this message made sense to you, subscribe to the channel, give the video a like, and write to me in the comments what touched you most. To seal this energy, comment the number 2, a symbol for love, unity, and soul connection. I'm happy to know that this message reached you. If this truth resonates in your soul, share it. Someone in your circle needs to remember they're not forgotten. They're being forged. Thank you, and until the next video.